Greetings and salutations. It's Wednesday, it's 6:45. Therefore, it's Waved Yellow, episode number 85. Gary, how's it?
Colin, good evening.
And we have the world's
one and only
fastest DJ in the world.
Hello, gentlemen. Hello.
Gennaro,
Gennaro
joining us.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening.
Gennaro, thanks for joining us.
No problem at all.
So, episode 85 of Waved Yellow. It is so cool to be back at the Vatswaye garage. It is absolutely awesome. We were here a couple of months ago. The whole production team is out. Gary, I'm impressed with the way that you pulled production together. The Oaks have been serious. I've got some wire in my ear. I feel like an FBI agent. It's so cool.
Are you wired, Colin?
I'm wired AF. So, first of all, to Nicholas Preston, my boy, my looker afterer of my daughter. Thank you for looking after her so much, and have an absolutely awesome rest of your happy birthday. Nobody died, Gary.
No.
That's a
That
good
I'm aware
week.
of.
Somebody got born.
Yeah.
Who?
And a couple of people have got birthdays, and a whole lot of exciting things are happening. And we were...
Yeah, but what else? No. Before you go where we were,
Okay.
I want to talk about Martin Truex Jr. You know, Gary, I love NASCAR because it's different. And they went to Sonoma. There's lefts and rights and all the rest of it. Anyway, Toyota and Martin Truex Jr. won. And then some call it a ball fest. Somebody's cell phone.
I'm just trying to share this link, guys.
And have you learned to work the
Yes.
silence button?
Yeah.
You kids are supposed to be technologically switched
I'm
on.
not Generation Z, unfortunately.
Is that a Samsung or an Apple? Apple. What, a 10X?
Are we having a cell phone
Okay,
discussion now?
carry on.
We're talking
Sorry,
about
carry
Waved
on,
Yellow.
carry on.
What do we do?
Carry on.
And then
His mind does
on
drift,
Sunday
right?
afternoon,
I'm just going to warn
At
you.
least.
we witnessed the finest race driver that probably we've all seen. I'm not a fan of him, but I've got to say, Lewis Hamilton is frickin' awesome. He's unbelievable. And the Mercedes Formula One team is kind of proper. They know how to do things, and Toto Wolff seems to be like kind of a nice guy. And Gary,
Yes.
then you and I, we were in Slummies, brother. It was fully cool.
Yeah, the guys in slummies are quite lekker, but I don't think they quite like us calling them slummies. And
We
just
call it
just so you
slummies
guys understand why we call it slummies, because
because they're all a slumber.
everybody's in a chill mode, and they've got the waves and the whales, and the dolphins do dirty things in the water.
And there was some fish in the sea as well. The whales were in the bar.
There were some whales in other places. We're not going there.
Gary, how desperate. Gary had like 4 chicks after him on Friday night. You cannot believe the stuff. It was humor. Sitting there, watched all these chicks spade Gary. They weren't spading me. Something wrong with me. They were after Gary. Sorry about that, Gary. We were there for the G&H Transport Extreme Supercars.
Yes.
Which was magnificent. So Friday afternoon, Franco Scribanti's got that beast of a Porsche of his. The thing is F-quick. But then they got an issue with the camshaft that came loose. Now, one of the questions that somebody sent to me was, yeah, but there should be a keyway in it. Guys, if you know your Porker engines, so the Foster of Porker engines don't have a keyway. So you've got to freeze things and you put stuff and there's like 800 Newton meters. It's quack. Technical stuff. Bottom line, the gear came loose, the timing wasn't so timing, and they needed dial gauges and stuff, so it's not a trackside job, so they took it back to Joburg. And then Charles Oranges brought his McLaren, Ayrton Senna tribute, basically drilled everybody for dead. It was a great race. You know, the Gennaro, quick one. What makes it for a good motor race?
Jeepers. Pace, speed, racing, passing, battles, technical stuff. Yeah, speed. People love speed. Sound.
And you don't need 27. If you want passing, Gary, you know I've said it often enough. If you want passing, go down the M1. There's millions of lots of passing. If you want lots of cars, go to the center of Joburg. There's a truckload of cars.
But in motor racing, we don't have passing. We have a thing called overtaking, which is an art. And Gennaro will give us that art a
I
bit
will
later.
talk to you about the art.
The art of overtaking and the setup
And the art
and
of
how you actually
pressurizing.
go about doing it and applying that pressure. So if you want to go watch passing, go to a highway, any highway.
But
Park yourself on a bridge and watch all the cars pass underneath you. That's passing. But if you want to
Okay,
watch
you sit on the-
overtaking, you watch us.
At least.
So if you've got any questions, any whatever you want to know about Gennaro, his life, there's a huge live crowd here, by the way. This is so nice. Welcome, guys. Thank you very much for joining us.
There's
our
a-
live audience.
There-
Go,
there's,
brothers.
there's a crowd online as
So
well.
if
So
you've got if you've got questions about anything you want to ask Gennaro, put it in the comments. Gary will raise it.
okay, there's a comment here from Mark Nathan. Says, is Gennaro so bored with Colin? He's on WhatsApp.
No.
And I want to know one thing.
He
okay?
wasn't
Yeah.
on WhatsApp. He
No.
was sharing it to the
Yeah.
world because we've got Belgium, the kingdom of Belgium.
You know, Gennaro's the first guest of ours that's actually dialed in to watch our show while we're doing our show.
And that's why he's confused.
He's
'cause
online.
there's a slight delay.
Little delay, you know, technology comes with time.
Gennaro, I normally say this to Gary, but I'm going to say it to you. Focus, bro.
I'm here. Present.
So it was a great
listen,
weekend of East London.
Mother's online.
Of course, my mom's online.
Kathy is
yeah.
online.
Oh yeah.
Hello, Kathy. Nice to have you online.
Hello, mom.
Welcome.
We will look after him, I think.
The other thing that happened this weekend.
I believe you're getting pricked this afternoon.
No, Gary, they're going to tattoo me.
That's what I said, pricked. Just for those of you who know,
I lost a bet.
he lost a bet, so he's going to have his arm destroyed. Where's...
Gary,
Yeah. Okay, now hold on a sec, just hold on a sec. We're going to drop the options in here. We want all of you, a thumbs up means option 1, a heart means option 2, and a smile means option 3. Which option should he go for?
Do I have a choice?
No, the crowd, fans are going to choose for you.
I can't believe it.
Okay, we just, there's it. So, there we go. Now the first one is a
Gary, they can see.
ink
They
monkey.
can-
All right, so there's the ink monkey coming up. The second one is going to be a 2 stripes. Now, the 2 stripes is actually very, very important. Colin will go into big details about that. That's Colin's favorite, but you guys are going to make a decision what he gets. Okay, and the third one is a Votswai thing, which is going to take extreme pain. So, as I said, option 1, thumbs up. Option 2, you put a heart, and option 3, smiley face in the comments. Let's go. All right, Colin, we got 10.
But you do know that I have veto on this.
Yeah,
And I'm not talking about his old man. Right, so the other thing that happened this weekend, there was a quiet little 24-hour race. We had Sheldon and Kelvin van der Linde, BMW, and an Audi. And an Audi won it, and a Porker was second. But the Porker should have won it, but the Porker was going too fast past a crash and didn't miss it. So anyway, Audi won it.
He forgot these things and didn't do those things. And
No, Gary, it was actually, I
Waved
saw the
yellows.
footage of it. Yeah, there was a double waved yellow. Oh, I saw what you did there. Hey?
I had
Gennaro,
to be
you
dad
can come
jokes.
again.
I got this dad jokes going.
Have you?
Yeah, oh, you're a dad.
I'm a dad. I'm a grandfather, actually.
Jeez, luck.
It's actually quite lekker.
I'm on a digital show.
But you do know that I have lawyers in my family.
That's
2 of
fine.
my spawn have grown up to be shit-hot lawyers.
Hey,
And the other one
family
is
show.
a director
You want us
of
to bring
a-
out the tingle jar again?
Gary, shit-hot is... That was how hot that disc brake was when I picked it up.
No, that was just the smell
So
of
I
your
was an
fingers
idiot.
burning.
Alwyn Steenkamp has been going around for about 27 laps at East London, and he ends up going into the corner, and those wheel studs break and wheels go flying. The disc breaks, and I go and pick it up.
And what does he do? He
Picked
finds
it
a
up.
piece of metal lying in the grass,
It's lying in the grass.
and he says, Gary, look, and he goes, Choo! Boom! All I heard was as his fingers fried. Never pick up a piece of a broken disc brake half an hour after the car's crashed. It's still hot.
Gary, that reminds me of Hasty's helpful hints.
Oh, okay.
Jeez.
That was one of them. Never pick up a disc brake. The other one is when you've installed a new sink and a brand new cupboard underneath in the kitchen, and it's all nice and new and all the rest of it, don't test the new taps that you've put in until you've made sure that the drain trap is attached to the outlet, because then the water goes all over your brand new cupboard.
Did you mess up this weekend?
Gary, all I'm saying, it's a helpful hint. Don't do it. It's not so lacquer, because you know what, you need a lot of rags to clean it up. So I was actually, the streaming of that Nürburgring 24 was absolutely magnificent. And Mante came second. They should have won it, but they didn't. And an Audi won it, which was quite... And do you know that they had 230,000 spectators there? It's a schloed.
Yeah. It is, and it's an amazing event, and it's actually on my bucket list one day.
You know,
Maybe,
the thing that really impressed me was I saw a tweet from Nürburgring after the race on the Monday. And did you see that where they showed
About
photographs of all the camping sites?
Yeah.
And it was spotless.
And the campers, they go out there,
That's
they
unreal.
make braais, they get hammered, better than the Australians get hammered. They have massive parties, pack their stuff up,
Yeah.
take all their rubbish and go.
They go
It's
home.
unbelievable.
Gary, what was your car of the race?
Up until a specific point in time, happened to be an Audi.
And yours, Gennaro?
Obviously, it was the BMs.
No, man. You guys are missing.
Was it that old school Manta?
It's the foxtail.
Foxtail.
man.
Foxtail.
Shame he had a crash, about... I think
So
a few
here's
hours
the
in.
story. Volker Strike, and I don't speak German too much, but he's the MD of, or the head of what we used to be Opel Motorsport, and they run the DTM teams. And his team, they built an Opel Manta, which is almost as old as Gary.
Yeah, way older than me.
And somehow it became the Foxtail. And this thing has run since 1999, every N24. And they had a massive crash, but a huge crash. The car's FUBAR, and they, in the spirit of N24, is you go and fix it. And the other teams all chuck people into it, and even one of the TCR teams, they spent time fixing it, and while they were fixing it, their car got flipped over the barrier and broke. Anyway, the Manta, the Foxtail, made it out for the last lap, and apparently the crowds just went absolutely ape. So it's a phenomenon. Whatever you can do, follow the Foxtail rules. So I'm led to believe that you have connections with Kelvin,
Yes,
and he sent some messages.
A couple of guys asking questions, and this actually leads us in. So I'm just going to read the question that's been asked. Mark Nathan asked Van der Lindes, had a weekend to forget, and then what's the final reason for the car? So as I replied to him, Mark Nathan, this is actually it. We have a link with Calvin, and our production's going to drop it in, and you're going to hear from him, and he's going to tell you in his own words what happened. Just watch this, guys.
Really hope it's playing.
I already said on the radio to the team, listen guys, it's going to be very tight with this tyre. I already was losing like 15 seconds a lap to Dries, Fred, who was behind me. I actually knew he was going to catch me at some point because I was just hanging on for dear life trying to stay on the track. It was really that bad. But then together with the team we decided it's all or nothing now. If we stop, we're definitely not going to win. So we decided to stay out, and yeah, the tyre exploded, guys, and
Right, so what he was saying is that they knew that they had a problem with these tires. They'd fought their way up into second, and they were now going for the win.
Yeah.
So you have this choice. Do you come in for a tires or you have a go? So they have this discussion. It's an 8-minute, 20-odd lap around Nürburgring. They had this discussion, and the team decided, pin it. So they carried on pinning it, and then the thing went boom. And when it goes boom, the tire fails. There's all sorts of steel and Kevlar and black stuff, and it destroyed the right-hand corner, oil coolers, but they knew it, and
but
they had to go.
just help a lot of spectators, because quite a few guys had a similar problem. The problem with the Audi was where the oil coolers are situated on that right-hand side of that vehicle. So as that tire did this and smacked that bodywork and destroyed that, it destroyed oil coolers and that. Normally what happens, those guys will pull over and they'll get a tow truck and actually probably get back to the pit repair car to go out. But the oil coolers had destroyed themselves so much, shut down the engine, and that was it. They were never going to start that car again. And that's unfortunately what happened.
There's a technical term for that, Gary. It's called FUBAR.
Oh, thank goodness for that. I thought he was going to say something else.
No, I wouldn't. And you may have been asking what happened to Sheldon van der Linde in the BMW. Timo Scheider. What did he do?
Unfortunately, it's one of those things I think that happens in the Nordschleife, you know, with GT3 cars and all different race cars there, from Renault Clios to the Opel Manta from 1980. He had an accident, I think, 4 hours in. So pretty crazy. I think Sheldon had just finished his stint, super stint, and handed over to Timo Scheider, and these things happened. Had an accident with a TCR car, I think.
That's part of why we go racing, is to see what actually happens, and except if it's Formula One and you know Lewis Hamilton's going to win, because I'm not a Hamilton fan, but you've got to rate him as probably the trickiest driver the world's ever seen.
Exactly, he's a machine. I mean, he pumps out the results every single week, and he's consistent. Even when he's not the fastest, he still manages to finish. And I think what he's done to be honest, what he's done for Formula One is elevated to the next level from a social status point of view. Yes,
because he doesn't just play in Formula One. He's got some.
I mean, he's best friends with all the
you can relate to
designers
his fashion stuff.
Yeah, no, listen, it's edgy and it's super Generation Z, but he's brought it to the public. I mean, he's friends with Neymar. He's friends with all the right guys across the world to really promote Formula One. And hate him or love him, he's a phenomenal driver, and he's really taken it to the next level, which I think is good for Formula One.
Put yourself in Seb Vettel's shoes. We've seen probably since July last year, whenever he's close to Vettel, to Hamilton, he chucks it away.
Yeah.
How do you, as a driver, when somebody is clearly dominant and the class of the field, as a driver, how do you switch your brain into getting into that mode that you can compete with a guy?
You have to just block out absolutely everything beyond that, and you have to almost forget about what you see as a preconceived idea about someone. You know, I think to race someone that dominant is not easy. It's a super big challenge because they're the favorites, but with that comes pressure for them, and you have to keep applying the pressure. You have to keep on doing what you do to put pressure on them, because they're going to make a mistake. Everyone's human. You know, there's not a robot. Yes, they might be phenomenal, and they might be 99 times out of 100 they won't make a mistake, but the one time they will. So I think in that state, you've got to just keep on putting the pressure. You've got to try what you can, be it mental games, be it racecraft, be it silly things. Maybe going for dinner with the guy. You know, you never know.
So what mental games did you play with Michael Stevens?
Obviously
you
not
knew
enough.
It was going.
Obviously not enough. Look, I mean, like I said, Michael and I have been rivals for 10 years now, more than. And you just got to...
Just hold on. To paint a picture. Gennaro's been racing against Michael forever.
Yeah.
And Michael just seems to have an edge. He's won a whole lot for various reasons. So you've been the underdog chasing him.
Yeah.
You've never won a South African championship, and it's got to burn your ass. And when you go towards the end of last year, you were pushing him hard, and you were hungry.
No, sure.
Proper hungry. It's like it was like Gary in East London last weekend. But you were proper hungry, having a go at it.
Yeah.
And how did you suck yourself in and try and play the game against him?
It's super tough. I mean, like I said, I think I've come second to Michael in a national championship 6 times through the years, and it's always been about our rivalry. And yes, he's always had the edge on me, but you know you never give up. And like I said, you got to keep on fighting. You got to keep on pushing. You try different things. You prepare differently. Eventually, I tried to become friends with the guy. That still didn't work. Sort of WhatsApp him every now and then, and that still didn't work. He still didn't make mistakes, you know. I mean, and to this day, I rate Michael Steven above anyone else in the country. I genuinely do. I think he needs a chance to really show his worth. I think he's got a phenomenal talent. He's an incredible engineer behind the scenes as well. So that's the type of guy he is.
Part of what makes him such
100%.
a super competitor
Yeah.
is he's a driver, an engineer,
Correct.
mechanic.
Team manager, well, was, and now
And
he is.
he's like everything
Yeah.
rolled into one. But could that also be a bit of a weakness in that he may need to look? He's developed those cars really well,
Sure.
but from a driver point of view, you able to focus as the driver
Correct, yeah.
and not do the team
Yeah.
manager's job as well. Is that an area?
Exactly. I think, that, to be honest with you, the more professional it gets, for sure, that's it. I mean, the works drivers of today, they focus on one thing. It's about the driving, the preparation to the race, the racecraft itself. They focus on driving. They've got engineers that come back and say, this is this and this and this. Tell us about the driving. You know, there's professionals in each sphere and subject matter experts. In South Africa, you can definitely get away with being multifaceted, 100%. We all are. No one's a professional driver in South Africa as their main profession. And that's telling, you know what I mean? It shows you that that's a fact. I mean, Michael's now managing one of the teams, but I bet you he'd love to get behind the wheel and drive the car, because for sure, he knows what he can do with the car and he knows he can set the car up, but at the end of the day, it's the nut behind the wheel.
Talking about that desire,
Yeah.
that hard desire to get back in the wheel, there was the unfortunate incident about that oil company who we shall not speak about.
No, we shall not.
And we shall not ever buy any of their products because they walked away from racing in a manner that I think sucked. I may have the facts wrong, but I've got my opinion, and I will never ever go there to that oil
Let's not
company.
go into detail
Okay.
about it, but yeah.
All right. So I just thought I'd, you know.
Yeah, it
maybe
was a
share
shock.
little-
I think it was a shock
so
for everyone.
you
Yeah,
ended
yeah.
up
Yeah.
without a drive.
Carlos.
And we were at Carlos. We were at the prize giving for the series,
Yeah.
and their guy was saying, "Oh, all things great and wada wada wada."
Yeah.
The next time I saw you was at Swartkorps, and you were bleak because you were now for the first time in a long time at a race,
Yeah.
and you didn't have a steering wheel in your hand.
Sure. It was a massive shock. I mean, for all of us. I mean, we did everything right in our books, and beyond that, I mean, we delivered results. We delivered transformation in the motorsport industry as a team. We went to bed in December at Christmas time, thinking everything's cool for next year. Everything's going to be sorted for 2019, and it ended up not being that way. So I found myself, like I said, without a drive. But being motorsport in my blood for 20 odd years doesn't
so,
make it easy.
So it burned your ass. You were bleak
Yeah.
as hell.
Yeah.
But
For
then
sure.
you set to work,
Yeah.
and now finally.
Correct. Yeah. We have something.
You had your big announcement.
Yes.
I'm sorry, we thought it was embargoed until tonight, but clearly
Sorry, guys,
your
yeah.
people didn't talk to our people.
Correct. Yeah.
Tell us, in
So-
your words.
I'll be racing at the Spa 24-hour race at the end of July at Spa Francorchamps in a BMW. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Yeah, in a BMW M6 GT3 car for the Boots and Gignon team. Again, for me, it's a phenomenal opportunity. It's a phenomenal event. I mean, you talk about endurance racing across the world. You've got
Spa.
You've got Spa,
Nürburgring.
Le Mans, and Daytona maybe. You know,
Yeah.
Daytona's in there. But those four are the pinnacle of endurance races, you know. So the thing I really enjoy about Spa is it's only GT3 cars.
Have you been to Spa?
I've been there before, never driven there, but I mean, you know, I've done simulator work, and that we'll talk about that. But so for me, it's absolutely phenomenal. You talk about the guys that have done it. The race has been going on for 20 odd years.
Just a quick one for those online over there. The car we're showing you on the screen now is the actual car
Yeah.
that Gennaro is going to be driving. So it gives you a bit of a view.
Yeah.
By the way, one of your friends over there, a young gentleman called Calvin van der Linde, he says, please tell Gennaro I'm waiting in Oru.
The giraffe, yeah, that's me. That's me, yeah.
Giraffe?
So giraffe.
Yeah, the giraffe.
Okay, quickly. For all of you that know, all his mates in racing call him the giraffe. That's his nickname. How did you come about that?
Being
Be-
6
beside-
foot,
Besides the height, it was
yeah, 6'4" in a race car is unheard of, really.
How much do you weigh?
I'm actually come down to 84 kgs. So
pretty good, eh?
yeah, slim and trim. obviously preparation for what we're doing next week and next month.
So
next
tell
month
us, before we know you're going there, what's it, first week of July for the test?
Next week,
Official Blancpain test.
Correct,
And
correct.
essentially you've got to do the test so that you can get the license to race.
Actually, no. So fortunate enough, when all this stuff went down beginning of the year, I went upon it myself to get FIA grading. So what it does is the FIA grade you according to your experience, according to your competition level, etc., and they give you either a bronze license, silver license, gold, or platinum.
Why did they rate you silver and not bronze?
So basically, because of I think my experience and my age helped for a lot, and obviously MSA was part of the whole application process, and we fought really hard to get a silver license, because in GT racing it comes with a lot of, I'd say, prestige and a lot of opportunity as well as a silver driver, because obviously platinum is Formula One, rally drivers across the marks, and obviously serious works drivers. Gold is all for works drivers, so professional racing drivers in big teams. And then silver is for the I would say semi-profession. The guys that have obviously a background in motorsport, have big ambitions as well. And then bronze is for the more amateur driver, but
the older guys.
Correct.
Because once Gary, if I went racing again, I would be a bronze driver automatically, even if I was a world champion.
Correct.
Because I might be older than 50.
Exactly.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Some say.
So you see, that's what, and that brings it to the important part of GT racing. I think Blancpain have got it super right in the way the SRO have done their things.
You've been around Germans too much. Super, yeah?
Yeah, super. Yeah, exactly. So they have the 3 different classes, actually 4 classes now. So they have the pro class, which is for a pro entry at Spa. So 3 drivers that are all professional drivers.
And factory teams.
Teams. And then they have Pro Am, which means 2 bronze drivers and 2 professional drivers. Could be gold or platinum or even silver. Then they have the Silver Cup, which is
only silver drivers.
And then they have the Am Cup.
Yeah.
So thankfully, and I'm really excited about this, the Boots and Genion team was entered in the Am Cup, which is actually great. For me, as a silver driver in the team, there's 3 bronze drivers. The 3 bronze drivers that are racing are super experienced.
They're not plonkers.
No, they've all raced Le Mans, 24 hour. They've raced LMP2. The guys are seasoned guys in the car and are going to be super consistent.
That experience of having raced at Le Mans and having raced other 24 hours, the first thing that you need to do in an endurance race is bring the car home to the end and not drive into anybody else. And surely that will help you, even though Kyalami, if you haven't bought your tickets for Kyalami, what are you waiting
The 9
for?
hour.
Go to the website, if you can't find it, Google's your friend. Kyalami 9 November.
Yeah.
You have to be there. It's going to be magnificent. So you've now got some experienced guys that you've got a little bit of confidence in.
Correct.
And inside a team, having that confidence surely must put you a little bit more relaxed that you can do your job of pinning it.
Exactly. I mean, look, for me, I've got no doubts about my confidence and my ability behind the wheel. I've got a lot to learn.
You're not a shy person with lacking in confidence.
Oh, thanks, Colin. No, but I've got a lot to learn. For me, never driven the M6 GT3. It's going to be new for me. The team have prepared me as much as they can already, sent me driver manuals, data.
Have you learned the steering wheel?
Learned the steering wheel, learned all the buttons, learned procedures, pit stop procedures, radio check. It's a lot more than what people actually think. And I think what I really want to try and do up to this Spa race and testing is take people through a journey of what actually goes on. And I know the Calvin and Sheldon them do it all the time in terms of show the guys behind the scenes. There's a whole RV that the team has with driver rooms, beds, a van. Like a recreational
camper.
A camper, a proper camper van that's not just a camper, it's just a caravan. And I think that's what people don't realize. 24-hour race is incredible. You have to finish, you have to drive consistently. You're doing hour stints minimum. You might do double stint, and through the night.
And a stint really as long as the fuel lasts.
Correct, which is normally about an hour. I mean, it depends on situations. Yellow flags, full course yellows, safety cars. That really depends on strategy.
And how hard you're pushing.
Correct. And again, strategy is everything. I mean, if you put it the right time, you gain yourself 3/4 of a lap.
Now that strategy comes from the structure of the team and who runs the team. A clue might be in the name of Boots and Racing.
Genion,
Talk about it.
So again, a team actually founded, and Thierry Boutsen is the team president, I think, principal, and his family and his run the team from a management perspective that tells you the legendary status of the team. You know, they're a team that raced LMP2 before, they've raced Le Mans, they've raced they currently run TCR for Tom Coronel, probably the funniest guy in the paddock.
And one of the racing drivers with the biggest Twitter
like
following in the
follow,
world.
unfollow. That's what he does. You know?
he does.
But he's got an
give a little
incredible
bit-
following. You know, so it shows you that they run a car currently in the AM class of Blancpain. They're super professional.
They run a Lamborghini.
They run actually a Lamborghini and the BMW
Yeah.
in the Blancpain Endurance Series.
Huracan,
Huracan,
especially for Reggie Root.
Yeah, exactly. That's racing this weekend in Misano in the Sprint Series. So the guys are super experienced. I mean, I think the chief engineer is a guy that was in Ferrari as an engineer at Ferrari. So you don't have that kind of quality unless you know what you're doing. The team's also going to help with other cars on the weekend as well. So.
Now, going back to that manual and the instruction book that they give you, what was the thing that came out to you as like, hey, wow, that's like, because you work for BMW
Correct,
at the moment.
sure.
So you're very used to the
Structure.
the German structure, and we do it this way,
This
and
is
we
the
will
way we
only
do
have
it.
one click.
Correct.
And there must be 4 eyes is better than the 2 eyes, yeah?
Exactly. Yeah.
And so what was the thing that came out of reading that manual and said, wow, if we can bring something like that to SA Motorsport, we could grow?
Look, I think a lot of the stuff is, as a racing driver, you know most of it. You know the procedure, you know what each button does, you know all that kind of stuff. But I think it's just the fact that it's super structured. I mean, you'll ask any of the guys that are in professional teams now overseas, that everything is planned to the minute, to the second, during the preparation, lead up to the event. You have engineers briefings. You do everything is just is on point. You know what I mean? Whereas in South Africa, I think for sure the
Kind of
teams
wing
have-
it.
They've pushed, and everyone tries to be as professional. I mean, you got even Signature Motorsport doing Polo Cup, who are really pushing the envelope, and obviously most of the GTC teams as well, and the guys doing off road, and it's there. But I think it's just the fact that it's on another level, another league.
Glad you brought up off-road, because one of the things we forgot to mention was the desert race. And I've got to look at my books because it's quite a significant thing. Chris Visser and Philip Herselman won it in the Atlas Copco Toyota. So they broke the stranglehold that the Toyota Gazoo Racing had on it. The factory cars got tree stumps, Gary.
They got tree stumps. They should
Yeah.
have tried fuel. It might have worked.
Janelle hit a tree stump in 6th gear.
Sheesh.
And then the other car hit another tree stump.
Henk.
What
He hit
gear
a
was he
tree
in? I just
stump.
want to know what gear he was in.
He was in the dust following another car. So let me tell you something. Janelle, I mean, Glenn has built those cars and the team and have built those cars F-strong. But in the next level of pushing, you make things lighter because lighter is faster.
And things go wrong when you do that.
If you hit a tree stump in 6th gear, which is above 160 k's an hour, guys, if you've got a choice between hitting a brick wall and a tree, choose the soft option. It's the wall. Trees go nowhere. So a big shout out to Stuart Thompson and the WCT. What does it stand for again?
World-class team.
I'm glad you said it because something else might have slipped out of my mouth.
And then you're not going to get a jingle joy. You're going to get jingle bank vault because you're going to fill it if you say that.
Anyway,
please
thank
don't.
you, Stuart, for sharing the information. And guys, live on it for a long time. Congratulations and well done. Gennaro, the pit stop procedure and
Correct.
getting in and out of the car. You're a giraffe.
Correct.
Are your other guys little giraffes or they minnows?
It's actually okay, actually, to be honest. The main driver in the team who's been there for a while is Karim OJ, and he's actually 6'2", I think.
Interesting
6'3".
surname.
Yes, there's
OJ.
links. OJ, yeah.
His
Those
daddy
of
is
you-
Monsieur OJ.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
For those
so
of you who know Monsieur OJ, Mr. Tag, how many shares of McLaren?
Yeah, he's got a big ownership in McLaren as well. So it's a
But
team,
apparently he was
family.
looking to sell them in the last year or two. But now after this weekend when King Carlos goes and does the
Correct.
job,
Yeah,
Lando Norris, what a drive that was.
Correct. So you see that the family's already got a lot of history in motorsport. So thankfully he's quite a big driver as well. And I think in the M6 is not bad because the pedals move. So there's not a problem in terms of the different drivers.
Because it's such a big car.
Correct. So the seat doesn't move, steering wheel stays the same. pedals move, and obviously
How do-
helmet connections and all of that stuff comes into play as well.
How do BMW feel about all the memes that have been going around with
But the
their
M8 GTE.
M8? That's so
Yeah,
good.
obviously it's funny and it's strange. You know, BMW Motorsport entered the M8 GTE last year into Le Mans and launched the M8, it's an 8 series into production with the M8 GTE, and now they've actually stopped the program.
Sad, eh?
Super sad. I'm sure there's plenty.
But
of
they're
reasons
carrying on
for it.
in Murica.
In IMSA, yeah, they'll carry on there with obviously the teams that side. Interesting, you know, it's one of those things, and it just shows you that big corporates and big guys that are investing lots and lots of money into motorsport make decisions based on all sorts of factors. I mean, you've seen they've now invested in esports. You know, for them, esports has become a pillar in BMW Motorsport.
iSports, as in...
Correct. The online racing, you know, online sim racing.
You part of the gang that races?
Yeah, actually, I was part of iRacing many years ago, and the guys that started probably 8-9 years ago while I was still a student had time. And then I didn't do anything, and now I thought, you know, this year I'm not racing, I better start something.
You got a rig?
Got to start something again. But I plugged in my PC for the first time in probably 6-7 years, and I realized that HD-ready TVs are no longer a thing. Graphics cards from, you know, 2010 are not a thing anymore. So
Upgrades, here we come.
upgrades, and actually guys in the 80K arena came on board and have sponsored me through a couple of big brands, Asus, Corsair, a massive computer rig. This thing runs 4K gaming like it's
And have you got the
joke.
seat and the
got
pedals?
the seat, got the
and-
pedals, everything. Yeah, obviously I need to try and improve on that. But
Have you
we'll get
configured your steering wheel to be like the
as close
M6?
as we can, as close as we can in terms of the buttons. Obviously for iRacing, you don't need all the basic functions, but you know, traction controls on there, ABS adjustments are on there, all that kind of stuff. And I've been doing, I probably must have done almost 500 laps at Spa. You know, in the sim at night time, sunset, morning. You know, iRacing's a fantastic game, and it's probably the closest thing to unless you go to the real rigs that all the manufacturers have. But I mean, like Max Verstappen, Nicky Katzberg, the Van Linde boys.
Van Linde guys.
You know, they're all on it all the time.
Interesting that, you know, in all the
And Pepper.
PlayStation games, the Peppers.
Yeah, sure.
The mom, dad, and dad and daughter and
Yeah.
Geordie. In all the PlayStation games, it's only motor racing that you assume the position that you would in a normal game.
It's true, eh?
You,
Unless it's actually unreal.
you play Madden, and to chuck a ball, it's XXX
Exactly.
what, and
And I think that muscle memory really makes a difference. Yes, you don't have the G-forces, you maybe don't have the heat of the race car, you know, that
but you follow the track,
it's your eyes.
and there's the bits, and you
Correct.
can also fiddle with
setup.
settings.
Correct. So setup's a big thing as well.
It's
yeah,
not
yeah.
just a game; it's a real tool. It's a real
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And how cool was it that Porker, the guy he liked McDonald's. Big time. Sorry, I didn't mean to say Porker because he drove a Porsche. The largish fellow who liked McDonald's.
Yes.
And he won the iGaming series, so they invite him to the world thingy, what, and he goes and wins it.
Yeah.
And then he got a dietitian and he's skinned down, he's lost 75
Well,
kilograms.
we also had
amazing,
a South African journalist that actually also won a series through playing games and ended up driving in a Nissan.
Correct.
In
The GT Academy, I think, something like
Yeah,
that.
Was,
something
was
like
he
that.
the oak who took his Nissan helmet to the Jaguar Somali Hill Climb? Or was that a touchy subject,
I don't
Gary?
know. Talking about Jaguar Somali Hill Climb. You went and
Yes,
pedaled that
yes.
pretty
We
So
did.
you went and upset a few people.
Yes,
In this
seriously
workshop.
upset.
And the history goes that we were here to witness the launch of the Alphas. Quattro Falvole.
Yeah,
Quack,
yeah,
quack, quack,
yeah.
quack,
Be
quack.
nice now, eh?
No, they're lacquer cars. I love it.
Remember what's on your...
So they bring a
pocket.
kid with a racing car.
It wasn't a race car, it was a standard
train.
M2.
Yeah, right.
M2 competition, and yeah, it had M performance parts.
And
on
what
it.
kind of... so standard road car...
Kropovic exhaust, but you can buy that.
what kind of exhaust?
A Kropovic. You can buy that at a dealership. If you take
Is
your
that
M2...
how you pronounce it? A Kropovic?
A Kropovic. It's not a Kropovic, it's a Kropovic. We found that out
Kropovic.
now from the, I think, Ukrainians.
Croatians,
Croatians,
Are you lying him to try and sell BMW
No, no, no,
products
no,
on our show?
No. But I'm just saying, everyone had their questions and doubts. I said, the M2 we raced up the hill, you could buy as a Joe soap, go to your BMW
Well,
dealer.
not quite Joe Soap. You had to have a Mahusive credit card. or a friend?
You know, you pay for quality and you pay for sheer driving pleasure. That's what it's
Gary,
about.
I'm about to vomit now.
Come on, man. You know what I mean? So anyway, we had a stand in M2. It was a phenomenal car up the hill, to be honest. I was very surprised. Obviously, rear wheel drive. It struggled a bit off the line. The launch control was amazing, but not as strong as the
It
all
didn't
wheel
struggle
drive.
off the line.
Wasn't bad.
You guys, okay, so here's the story. In
We created a bit of fun,
his
I think.
PR version, we just bring a standard car, we're just driving up the hill, we'll just see how it goes. They had data logging in the car. There was G sensors all over the place. There were timing. There was hours.
I mean, you don't go,
There was.
you know.
They brought a race engineer.
No, man.
You did.
Yeah, he runs the driving experience.
Race engineer?
You know,
Did you have a race engineer?
ran
Yes or no?
BMW Motorsports
You had a race
in the
engineer.
2000s, yes.
Did he have a Mahusiv computer? Yes,
No,
he
he
did.
did not.
Did he have video and all the telemetry? Yes, you did.
But so did the others. The others all did.
I want to know one thing.
The Jaguars and the Nissan had
We've
it.
mentioned everything else. Was there silicon and unobtainium in that BMW?
What?
Silicon?
There are things that we like on this show that Waved Yellwo likes. And in order for us to get excited about stuff, it's got to have 3 things. Preferably 2 out of 3 ain't bad. But we'll go with carbon fiber,
Yes.
silicon,
Yes.
and unobtainium.
Okay.
So the price of that M2 Competizione
Does that fall into
Gone,
your
gone,
Into
unobtainium
competition,
bracket?
yes.
competition
Just under $1 million
race car.
for a brand new one.
and
some
then
bits and bobs, correct.
3.5 grand for the 1,000 grand for the Akrapovic.
Yeah, I mean, you know, carbon fiber bits, sure, it all adds up. But if you want quality, it's got carbon.
Yeah, silicon.
I'm not too sure. Maybe there's some silicon bushes in there or some silicon.
But
spray.
there was, but there all were there. Some of
And
your
polishes.
fans were there with silicon.
Colin?
No idea what you're talking about.
Family
Because
show.
you notorious
Family show.
Oh, notorious for what?
for. You're not just a racing driver. You're the world's fastest DJ. Tell us the story about the DJ stuff.
Just talking about that, just quickly before you get onto that. Mark Nathan says, Gennaro, before you leave this evening, please play us a quick music set. As Gary does not know what dubstep is.
You don't do dubstep.
I don't play dubstep, no, unfortunately.
But you
not.
play like
House
what,
music.
acid house?
Answered, Mark.
Yeah, normal house music. So yeah, DJing.
So you like, you dig like Armin van Buuren?
No, not really. That's more trancey. It's cool to listen to, but not really. I wouldn't play it.
And who's the other guy who? He's scary.
No, don't go back too far, please.
No. What got you into the DJ stuff?
Funny enough, always my whole life at home, we played music on the weekends. My parents played music throughout the whole weekend, and I loved music growing up. I had a really couple good friends of mine growing up through high school. They were DJs at the time, and
Where did you go to school?
I went to Dainfern College.
God.
Yeah, college. And then I studied at Tikkies, so Tikkies
Yeah.
boy.
And
And
the
then,
Afrikaans praat.
no, a little bit. And
Okay.
bisschen, probably more German than Afrikaans, which is quite sad. So
Are you
yeah,
practicing your German? Can you say super?
super, yeah.
Super.
It's normal. So then I started learning
But
how
Germans
to DJ.
never say just super once. Super
super,
good.
yeah, super,
super
yeah,
good.
super,
Yeah.
Quick question, talking
Yeah.
about all of that. Just somebody's asked a question.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're prepared to answer it, but I'm going to give it to you anyway.
Yes.
Okay. What about racing an electric Porsche? And
Porsche not so much.
Maybe you should say electric BMW.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. We obviously have the i8 and i3. I mean, those electric cars are becoming a big thing. I mean, BMW and a lot of big brands are investing in Formula E.
What do you think of that?
To be honest, I think it's got its time and it's got its place. Genuinely,
It's not Formula One.
It's not Formula One, and it is obviously on street circuits, prepared for the streets. It's not as exciting because of the noise. The racing is incredible.
It's very close race.
Jeez, like, I mean,
and
it's-
look, there's some lunatics there.
No, it's
John Eric Verne.
No, it's wild. I mean, actually, when I was in Munich last for a business trip, I had dinner with Tom Blomqvist and Felix da Costa Antonio, and they are obviously
Just as one does.
No, but I mean, no, but I knew them from.
Just throw the names out
hanging
there.
out with
No,
the-
but it's
hanging out
important.
with
It
the
adds
boys.
context here, please. So Antonio obviously is a factory driver for BMW with Alex Sims, and he said to me, "It's funny, you know, it's for them, it's standard road tires, and it carries on, but it is like professional racing drivers going to drive 4-stroke go-karts. It's like that. The cars are not your Formula One downforce crazy cars. They're good enough. They're on road tires,
And
But
they run
that's-
wide slip angles as well.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's crazy, and that's what it's like. And everybody is on the same pace. The cars are identical, basically. And he says it is wild, and that's the best way I can explain it.
Just do me a favor.
Yeah.
I'm going to move my book here.
You know that,
Put your foot on
why don't you just lift the shoe up? There we go. Can you
Happy
guys,
socks.
Guys, check these socks out.
Every day at work.
What's it? Happy socks is
Okay.
happy feet.
And if you have a look over here, it's very close to the seat. So
Yeah, one's in
Keepers.
black and white, the other one's
No,
in
you gotta enjoy life every now and then.
What's your the best race car you've ever driven?
Cheapers? That's a very tough question.
And why?
you can go like this when you answer the question.
It could be
No,
a 100cc rock cart in the rain.
Yeah, that's always wild. Cheapers. To be honest with you, the wildest thing I've ever driven is a supercharged aerial Atom. It was not standard. For me, on the road. Yeah, because a racetrack, you put a helmet on, you buckle up, anything is crazy. It can be an old historic race car. But this Atom was...
It's light and lots
weighs
of
nothing.
front.
It was supercharged, I think, Civic motor or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
It was crazy. I didn't have a helmet on. I had my open face and glasses because of the wind, and I was just blown away. So for me, that was like, holy, you're about to spin at any point.
It must have been
in time.
disaster because it might have upset the hairstyle.
And I leant back and leant across, and my head kept in place.
And where do you get the style that you come from? Because
What style?
You're one of the stylishest race drivers I know. You've even got like tan shoes.
Of
Sweet
course,
pairs, I believe.
I'm working for a German company. You got to have brown shoes and brown belt. But I'm actually wearing blue and black today.
Yeah.
That's a very Bavarian thing,
How do
apparently.
they say in case? He's sorted.
Yeah.
Sorted. Keep at the times.
Right, so you doing Puhan, Eau Rouge, Rattle On.
All the
Oh, man.
Look, Spa is, flying out Saturday night, meeting the team, seat fitting, everything on Sunday at the workshop. It's actually strange, the workshop is like probably 15 kilometers from my dad's house in Belgium.
You're going to stay with Dad?
Yeah, for the couple days, and then obviously we go down to the test, we'll stay at Spa.
How much of your dad's rallying do you remember?
A lot of it. I remember a lot of it. Genuinely, it was the first memories I had of motorsport ever. I mean, at the age of 4, I think I fell off a service truck, broke my collarbone in Swaziland. You know, that was like...
Those Swaziland rallies, middle of the
Kestrel, it
night,
went from-
unbelievable.
Yeah,
hey?
yeah. So, I mean, for me...
And your dad was a true legend.
listen,
and
sure.
I think has a lot of the professionalism that he had rubbed off on you and the how to handle being at the top of your game?
I
Because
think so.
he is world class.
Colin, and that was the thing, you know, with him and Serge Damso, he always had to deal with the media. He always had to deal with the team. He had to deal with the sponsors, you know. Serge was a phenomenal driver, but at the time, I don't think he had a lot of time for media. For him,
But-
it was
but-
about driving,
but
doing his thing. And
Dump-
phenomenal, eh?
Dumpy never wanted to talk to
No,
anybody.
exactly. So I think that, and also my dad's involvement in business. I mean, he was a super successful corporate businessman. So he always had
Super.
very, whatever. So, you know, and that really influenced me, I think, in terms of being holistic around not just being a racing driver, understanding the commercials behind it, understanding the business interest in everything that we do. You know, and as I sit here, we represent people, you know.
You know,
So a lot to learn. Yeah. Anyway, we come back
it's
to where
not
we were.
going to. So you now gone to Spa.
Yes.
We
Next
mentioned
week.
at the beginning of the show, November Kyalami.
Yes.
There's time between now and then.
Correct.
I'm led to believe. Our sources tell us, Gary,
Yeah. We have very impeccable sources.
that you are probably going to be in this car at Kyalami and you are
don't
probably
know.
going to do a couple of races between there.
Look, I don't know.
Tell us,
To be honest
you
with
like
you,
to?
Of course, for sure. It's
And how real
it's
is
on
it?
the table. We need to have discussions. I mean, obviously, my first port of call is next week, Tuesday, Thursday, official test, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then obviously the race end of July. And there's a lot of things that are going to happen between now and then. But for sure, I want to speak to the team and see their interest. The other drivers in the team are AM drivers. For them, South Africa is probably a place that they would love to come to.
ideal end of year.
For sure.
Race and vacation.
November, I mean, that's fantastic time at Kyalami. And so we'll see what we can do. You know, we're in a position where a lot of teams are coming out. A lot of the teams that are already signed up for Kyalami now obviously are factory teams.
Yeah.
So the lineups are already committed. You know, we've seen some local guys that have entered as well, entered whatever GT3 they have in the country, etc., etc. So I think for teams to come out here, I mean, just to give you an idea, the cost for a team to come out here for Kyalami 9 hour is probably somewhere close to 200,000 euros. You know what I mean? So that's a lot of money for one race. You know, so and it's a professional series. I mean, you're going to see 30-odd cars on that grid, maybe more, that are there to do the business.
Factory,
Cheapest.
Mercedes, Audi. There's 13 factory cars there, including Nissan.
Correct.
The only
All
one we
entered.
haven't, thank God we haven't got Ford there, because I'd want to cheat and win it again.
Shame, man.
No, they
nasty
cheated.
people.
Oh, yeah, no. It's one of the, look, rules are the rules are the rules.
They
you know?
cheat, yeah.
And,
It's like-
maybe not intentional.
It's like Danny Rick drove off the track to pass the guys.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
Gennaro, we can carry on
Sure.
forever.
Sure.
I've got to say, to the tallerest, most DJ-est racing driver,
Sure.
well, you now are back as a racing driver.
Gee, I was a
'Cause
has-been,
you weren't.
eh?
Yeah,
I was a has-been.
You were truly.
I was.
Oaks, they'd forgotten about you.
Thanks, Colin.
We didn't. We knew you were there.
6 months out of it, and I mean, that's what it is, eh?
You're only as good as the last one, eh? So, welcome back to being a racing driver
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
Although it's only a test drive. At the end of next month, you'll be a racing driver
Correct.
again.
Yeah, yeah.
And thank you very much for taking time out of your super busy schedule with the Germans to get here. It was absolutely awesome sharing,
Pleasure.
and thanks a lot.
Just before you do that, so guys, it's not the end of the show. We've still got another interview coming up, and then we're going to go and watch Colin get pricked. Girls, behave yourselves.
Not getting pricked, I'm
Okay.
getting a tattoo.
He's getting pricked. He's gonna. And at the moment, the only Reggie says one on each cheek. Now you know your mate Reggie. You can work out where that. No, Colin, it wasn't that cheek.
Reggie,
Gennaro,
I want to go with option number one.
Gennaro,
Thank you very much, guys.
thanks very much
No, I
for
really
gracing
appreciate
us your presence, everything else like
Definitely.
that. And if you do get to 9 hour, I'm going to ask you a little question. Somehow or other, if you're successful, I want you to not forget us, because we need to get into the back of your pits to do what we do.
Yeah.
So if it's successful, please keep an eye open. And if it's a
Definitely.
small gap that you can get us in, keep us in mind.
Yeah, definitely. No, we'll do. Thank you, guys, and I appreciate it.
Travel safe,
definitely.
drive fast, flat out, brother.
Damn
Fold
right.
the mirrors back.
Off
if
we
there's
go.
a gap, go for it.
100%. Thank you,
It's
gents.
carbon fiber, you can just replace it.
For euros.
Right,
So,
guys, coming up
lots
is
of
the boy
euros.
that owns this beautiful establishment. His name is Corbet. We can have a quick chat to him. And
we, apparently, Gary,
yeah,
the voices in my head
yeah.
are telling me that we have to talk, or we are going to talk about Mopar South African Endurance Series, Swartkorps this weekend.
Right. Forgot about it.
Yeah?
You see, you sidetracked me.
Sorry, Gary.
Okay.
That's not hard.
Right, guys, don't forget this weekend. It's
Don't go away. Don't go away. We're coming
It's
back.
round 3. Yeah, don't run away, guys. All of you from those 3 cameras, don't go. Round 3 of South African Endurance Series brought to you by Mopar. And we've got 24 cars in the grid. Alphas, Ligiers, Backdraft Cobras. Are we allowed to say that? Backdraft Cobra is a backdraft.
No, it's a backdraft.
It's a backdraft.
It's like a fart.
Lamborghini, Ferrari, Nashes, and a Polo, and a VW Polo. Okay, so
Gary,
there's-
is that a Nash with an N or a GNAS?
no
Nash.
Nash. It's called a Nash, built by Nash Motorsport. Okay, so
Oh, I'm
Okay.
just
so locally built South African car. It's won quite a few index of performances, so it's going to be very exciting. There's some big boys in this. We've got the Campos team in one car, challenging another set of brothers in another car, and
And
I've
the
just
Campos-
forgot their name.
the Campos
Temples.
brothers just won their last time out at Swartkorps. They won index of performance as well. So they're trying to go for that.
Sure.
Okay, now,
So
yeah. Just to give you guys some idea, we've got a little bit of a package we put together, and I'm going to ask production, please play this little teaser for us. Okay, so while that's on, yeah, let's get that teaser up, and then, Gennaro, thank you.
Thank you, guys. We'll keep in touch.
well done.
We'll show you exactly.
Welcome back, and SWAT Corps this weekend is going to be absolutely magnificent. Endurance racing, you know, we've had Lamar 2 weeks ago. This last weekend was Nürburgring 24, and we've got the Mopar 600, which is a 4-hour race at SWAT Corps. It's a busy track, 2.4 kilometers. There's some seriously fast cars at the sharp end of the field. Ligiers, there's ground effect cars, there's non-ground effect cars. There's the Alpha versus Honda in the production cars,
Correct.
which is going to be quite exciting. Apparently Sarah van der Merwe is going to be there. We hope he is. George Fouchier, George, my boy, come and have a look and say hello in the pit lane.
That'd be great
But
to see him in the pit lane again.
where we are,
Yeah.
we're in the Vatswaye garage, Kobe. A couple of weeks ago, we were here. You stole the microphone away from me. You haven't got a microphone now. You got your own. Yeah, absolutely. We've got to keep you in control.
Welcome.
Thank you, Gary.
Thanks for your hospitality and inviting us here. And how have things gone since the launch? It was a couple of weeks ago.
It's a month. It's a month.
It feels like yesterday,
It's a
actually.
month. It's been going well, to be honest. As I said that night as well, we were fortunate before the launch, and we still are. We basically fully let as we sit here, and we're looking at new properties again and different spaces. We're trying to find a way to make this place bigger. It's proving difficult, but we're looking for more space, and yeah, we've been lucky. The business is going well. Everything, to be honest, I have nothing bad to say about the whole WSJ garage as we call it. So, yeah.
Before you, I just want to just frame things. Vatswaye is a workshop, it's an escape, it's a cave, it's a petrol lovers, it's heaven. It's absolutely heaven.
It is heaven.
So there's a bar, there's cars, you can store your cars, you can work on your cars, and Corbett and his mates, they will try and help you. They'll store the car, they'll help you restore it, and they'll help you sell it, and they'll transport it. They give you a cave. So ladies, it's safe to send your men here because there's no chickies here. It's just guys and coffee and the odd tattoo artist and stuff like that. So it's a safe haven for people. And you do have a female following as well who just love cars and they're passionate of cars. You've got that G-Wagon out there.
The silver one.
There's a silver G-Wagon. That's, how old is it?
A 1985 model. Doesn't look like it, but it's an 85.
It's 1985. Somebody go and find it. Send a man to show pictures of it. It's got like, Ruan, are you there? Tell me when Ruan's there. So it's got 2 doors. It's got lacquer colors. Show us those lights. It's got,
I can see something happening on the screen.
it's got, no, but there's a delay there, don't worry. It's got, how much has that got? If I wanted to,
We got it in the market now for 250. We don't think that's too bad looking at the other examples available. It's a fairly good driver.
and it's got lacquer wheels, bro.
It's got lacquer wheels. It's got the G63 wheels on it. There we go. There's the car on there. It's a original vehicle with original motor, all that stuff. But
There you
I
go.
don't want to use the word pumped, but souped up a little bit with
It's tweaked.
it's tweaked. It's tweaked with the LED lights and the body kit that it has on.
Yeah.
Looks like a newer one. Drives like an old one. Looks like a new one.
Hey, can you put, if I wanted to, could you put side pipes out the side and make it grrrr?
I could, but I won't.
You can do
You
what you
can
want.
find someone else to do that for you.
So, you've been selling cars, and a very interesting negotiation with a car. It's blue. I'm not going to mention which one it is and how it's been going. And it's not an instant thing where somebody comes in and just walks into, I want that. It's an interesting,
process.
yes,
There is a process.
a bit of arm wrestling.
There's always the bit of arm wrestling and negotiations going around with buying, selling anything relating to these vehicles. We very seldom get someone walking in buying a car just because they want to buy the car.
And because they can.
And because they can. That's not the market that we're focusing on. We try to find vehicles for specific people, the correct vehicle for the specific buyer. That's why there's a lot of research going in with that, and a lot of I don't know what the correct words are to use, but a lot of time goes into acquiring such a vehicle.
Can you find me a Mini Cooper S?
Absolutely, I can.
Oh, I love it.
When do you want it?
Well, it all depends on the price. You know, you never
We'll arm
answer.
wrestle. We'll
You
arm
never
wrestle.
answer a car dealer. Answer. You never answer a car dealer straight up. But now
I'm
this
trying to
weekend,
think the blue car that you're talking about. Sorry, can't.
it's a 2-door blue car.
Is that the one that's?
Yeah, that one. You know that one that's
Okay, I
next
got
to
it.
the other
I
one?
got it. I got
That's
it.
over there,
I got it.
that flat one. Now there's a technique to arm wrestling. We're
All right.
talking about that. Right, so you going on Sunday,
Sunday.
you're going for another drive.
Sunday.
So you
every
bring all
last
the,
Sunday.
everybody, 9:30, pull in for coffee, bring your cars, and if I can bring my Suzuki Vitara, I can come with it.
You are welcome to. Maybe some of the other people might it would be frowned upon a little bit, but you can bring it. As we said the previous time, we encourage diversity for any vehicle.
As long as it's got tires and it's
Tires
got a
and
beat.
drives. We don't want to tow it. We don't want to push it. So come with any vehicle that's running, driving. We try to give it different locations for every breakfast run. The last Sunday of every month, this coming Sunday, we try to get together here about 8:30 in the morning, have coffee, have a muffin as we do, and then get in the cars and leave here from about 9:30ish in the mornings up to say 10 o'clock we leave, and then it's about an hour's drive to every destination that we go. So this coming Sunday, 9 o'clock, we'll leave from here.
So if somebody wants to lend me a Suzuki Jimny, I'll be the tow vehicle. Gary,
Jeez.
apparently it's that time. The voices in my head are saying,
No, it's not that time.
because they want to,
For me, it's that
They
time.
want
For
to-
you, it's
they want
time to
to-
go and get pricked.
they want to abuse my body.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to have my body abused. I've made up my mind. I don't know what you guys have chosen.
Okay.
But I just want to say thank you for your hospitality.
Thank you, Colin. It's a
I love
pleasure.
your catering
Always a
department
pleasure.
has done well
You
again.
mean the bar?
No, your catering department. Don't mention those things, man. Jeez. It's catering department.
Good.
Because I believe
You can
Burgos
become unstressed now.
That's not going to happen while I'm in this chair.
No.
Well,
but
there
you
you
do know-
go.
He's blushing again, Gary. Gary,
Where's the boss? Where's the boss? Can't see the boss.
So-
oh, see, I me under the. We now have to unstress him or get him stressed for you.
Gary, what do they call those things? Stressed balls? Oh, no, stress balls. No, those things that you squash.
Behave yourself, Colin. I know where you're going.
On that
Guys,
note,
This is it. This is the time that we're going to go and torture Colin to hell and gone. It is for a very, very specific purpose. There will be a reveal of the tattoo when he's done. So stick with us. It just depends on how much pain Colin can take as to when and what day, actually what year it might be finished. So, Colin, the reason you're doing it, I admire it. And
Gary.
I do agree with you, but I think we're going to leave that for another
Gary,
show.
pain and pleasure are very close together. Without one, you can't have the other.
Kobe, thank you for allowing us back into
Thank you,
your
Gary.
cave.
Appreciate. Always welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Kobe.
Thank you, Colin.
Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah.
and the others, we know where you are. We know we watch, we see all around. Thank you very much for watching.
Don't forget, we live Saturday. Watch us, full 4 hours of Mopar endurance racing. Join us. If you're at SWAT Corps, come and say hello. You never know, you could become a star on the show. Adios.
Mopar 600 on Saturday, SWAT Corps. Thanks for watching. Cheers, bro. Yeah, okay. It's that time. Am I going in here? Okay, now you can cut. No, you're cutting now. Cut.
Colin, don't be chicken. Colin, this is like pristine. It looks like a surgery. Right. The fans have spoken. You've made a decision. And I'm sure there has to be an artist impression of what it's like. Let me see if I can find it.
What is your name?
Have you got the artist impression?
Tristan. This is Tristan at
All right.
Moonshine.
I'm not gonna
I
show
can't even
you-
read that far.
I'm not going to show people what your actual tutu is going to look like. But it's about that. Okay? That's what he's chosen. So guys, we will be back and we will reveal his tattoo as soon as he survives. Cheers, adios.